This video is going to go over the best way to get bookmarks for you to summon with. So the first thing is mainly for newer accounts because these missions do have a cap, but in the reputation there's missions for increasing your friendship with units. This one I would say isn't really something you focus on, it's just something that you'll get as you continue playing. Friendship is useful for other methods, or other things besides just bookmarks, because you can get skill points to use on your units, which basically act as Molagoras. So you'll kind of just get that just from going for skill points. The important one is this one, Reliable Support, Unlock Devotion Skill Grade SSS with a hero. This mission caps at 30, and at 30 you'll need 85 heroes with an SSS imprint. We can claim the ones that we have here, that's 18, that's another 18. So if we go look for the mission now, it's down here, it's down to 19, or it's up to 19, and now we need 5 heroes at SSS. So farming out this mission is very important because you need to micromanage your hero inventory a little bit. So let's go over the best way for us to do that. In Epic 7, typically there's a rule where you want to keep at least one of every single unit. That is just in case they get buffed. Sometimes units get used in really weird places. For 3 stars, maybe they'll get a specialty change. So we want to keep at least one of every unit SSS. It can be a little bit hard to tell who you have available for imprinting. For that, I would say just click here, and if you see a red dot means that you have units available for you to imprint with. So we can quickly go down our list and imprint all of our units that are available here. Just mash it. Okay, see Junie. This isn't as big of an issue if all of your units are the same level. It's mainly a bigger issue if you have some units that are higher level. Melanie, I actually don't know if I've ever imprinted her before. And here we have Claudia. So Claudia, we can actually just almost get the SSS. I know I have somebody down here that will get the SSS. Well, I'm going to skip ahead a little bit. I think it should be here, Helen. So Helen, we can get her to SSS. And after you get a unit to SSS, you actually want to start working on another copy. So we're going to lock this Helen too. You want to get this Helen to SSS as well, and then you can transmit her. This is just because we can put this Helen in the waiting room. This is just because we want to keep one copy of every unit, and even though we're not using Helen, we can just toss her in the waiting room. Where did she go? We can just toss her in the waiting room, and then this way we'll always have a copy in case there's a Helen SC or something. But we want to progress on another one just because we need to get to 85, which is a lot. And there's not enough 3 stars in the game for us to do it just by keeping one copy SSS. But like I said, after the second copy gets maxed out, you can just transmit her. We don't need to keep 2 copies of a unit. So here we have another one here, Jenna, same thing. Going to get her to SSS. We'll take our second copy. And we can fuse this one. So we'll put Jenna in the waiting room later, and then we'll start working on this new copy. There's one more thing to note for 4 stars specifically. It's that the thing with 4 stars is that a lot of the 4 stars have Moonlight forms, and sometimes the Moonlight forms will be better than the RGB forms. So you might not know which ones you should be focusing on, which is fine. You can ask around for that, or if you want to free up some space for now, what you can do is keep one copy, of course. Like here with Karin, we have Last Piece Karin, regular Karin, and then also Bloodblade Karin, with Bloodblade Karin being the priority. So we're going to just fuse it into one Karin, and I don't have enough Karins to show this, but basically you'd want to get her to SS imprint, because then when you do roll a Bloodblade Karin, if we put our SS Karin into Bloodblade Karin, she would instantly hit SSS since this base Karin would count as 1 as well. So just get to SS so you can save it for your ML copies is one way to do this. And we can see who else we have here. Like here, I have Wanderer Silk. We can just do this. So you definitely want to be doing this, one, to clear up space in your inventory, and also just because getting the bookmarks and also getting... So here we have Moon Bunny Dominiel, who I'm probably going to prioritize. And also just because when you fuse them, you do get a bunch of blooms, and this is one of the reasons why blooms aren't much of a struggle once you start getting a lot of rolls, just because every time you roll, you end up getting blooms. So definitely make sure that you're doing this just so that you can keep doing your progress towards the SSS mission. And of course, once you hit 85 and you cap out that mission, you don't really need to bother with the second copies anymore. Like, you can just stop going for second copies of units, just keep one copy of every unit SSS, and then you're done. So then, besides that, there are also some other ways for us to get bookmarks. One is, you should be doing this already, but just in case you aren't, in the Labyrinth, in Tyrell, Castle, and Chaos is the preferred stages, Area 1 or Area 4. You can go in here, and then go to the Huche Shop. So Area 1 and Area 4 have the fastest methods. I would say Area 4 is faster. One thing though is, I didn't bring any units that actually do damage here. I'm gonna restart. It's just because Huche in his shop has a chance to drop bookmarks. So you definitely want to be checking it every day. You already should be going there for the charms, but just in case he does drop bookmarks, it would be very sad if you missed out on them. And also, this fight can be removed, which I'll go over very quickly. No bookmarks today, but we'll pick up the charms. So, the way labyrinths work is that the things in your path are RNG, and it will change each time you actually exit the portal. So, we can go back in, and we'll see if there's still a fight there. There's still a fight here, so pretty much you can just keep on doing this, just kill the wave, and then go back into the portal, and just keep on resetting it until you are on a version that has no fight in the path, so that you can speed up your daily routine a lot. Also, of course, if you haven't, like here, I haven't actually fully explored the map yet. You probably want to do that before you do this. So you can see there's no fight here now, so... Wait, no, this is the wrong part. Yeah, there's no fight here now still. So now you don't have to worry about dealing with a fight when you come check Huche every day. But you definitely want to fully explore the map first before you set this up, just because this is kind of wasted. I'm going to have to exit the lab at least one more time. So it's going to reset at some point. And then after you have this set up, instead of using the portal to exit, just make sure you yield. If you yield, the labyrinth won't change, so you'll be able to keep that setup that has no fights on the path. And then of course we have the secret shop. The secret shop is the best method for getting both Covenant bookmarks and Mystic medals. Compared to buying your bookmarks directly in the shop, where is the packs? Normal? You can buy 50 Covenant bookmarks for 950 Skystones, which comes out to about 95 Skystones per 5 Covenant bookmarks. In the secret shop, it's actually around 70 Skystones per Covenant roll or 5 Covenant bookmarks, and then for Mystic medals, it's roughly 270. And of course, this is subject to RNG because you are just resetting it and trying to all the way that I misclicked. All the way at the bottom down here, there is the, can I track this? Nope. All the way at the bottom down here, there's the rates for the Covenant bookmarks and Mystic medals. So you are playing the odds, but we do such a large number of refreshes that it typically averages out a decent amount. The main thing is to not worry about whether or not you're hitting. Just don't think about it. Just spend your Skystones and wait for bookmarks to show up. So there's actually an easier way to do this if you want. It doesn't involve the PC client because the PC client doesn't have this functionality. So we are quickly going to switch over to Emulator. So we're on Emulator now, and I'm on my main account. This might be a little bit small. Let me make it a bit larger if I can. I like leaving my window a bit smaller, just so I can see it without having to look as far when I'm rerolling shop. So you can open Secret Shop, and what you want to do is on the right side of your emulator here, or if you're using BlueStacks, it's here. All LD player, Moo app player, the other two that I've used before, also have this. You want to take a look for keyboard controls or game controls. Turn it on, of course, and then go to the controls editor. So our goal here is to have a tap on every single button in the shop, and I think this is the setup that I usually use. I actually don't remember, it's been a while. So we want to have a tap here for every single button. So we can save that real quick, close this, and let's scroll down. go back to the controls editor, and then we can have a tap here, one here, and then one here. So this is basically setting it up so that we can click on all 6 of the items in the shop with our keyboard. And then there is also the swipe. We have to look for swipe. If I can drag this on here. Increasing the size is just how hard you swipe. We don't need any of these really. We need only up and down, so we're going to remove those 2. And then down, I usually do S, I think. I don't remember my control scheme. I can check. This is the one that I usually use. Okay, usually I do down Z and then up S. So up I do S and then down is Z. So we can close this and check it out real quick. It's just if I press S, it'll go down, and if I press Z, it'll go up. Z is just in case. Sometimes I'll refresh, and then I press down and I realize I skipped over something, so I press Z to go back up. And then we also, of course, need to actually be able to hit this button. So we can have tap here, A, and then we also need buttons for confirming buying a piece, which you can check here. What do? I do shift and space. So here shift, here space. I also might as well check what else I have while I'm here, and then W and D. So this just has it so that I can, let's leave real quick, and then if I click on refresh, we want to make sure we can click these buttons as well. So then I had W, and then D here. So now we have our whole thing set up, and we can just do a couple of refreshes. So this just basically makes it so you can do it with your keyboard. I usually do this while I have like something on the side that I'm watching or something, and you can just go through your shop until you hit a bookmark. I like having it so I can do everything just around the same area. Makes it a lot easier for me. You could also use more buttons, like you could map this stuff to using the arrow keys as well, like 2 hands on your keyboard. I usually do it with 1. It's just a habit I have from playing games. And then I was going to go until I hit a bookmark, but it doesn't seem like, there we go. So now, so one thing is you can turn on-screen controls, so you can actually see what it is. I forgot what it was for a second. 1 space, and there we go. So you could use this to help refresh your shop easier, especially if you're on PC client. It's not as bad when you're doing it on mobile because you don't have to like move your hand everywhere, but it's a bit annoying when you're on a PC client because you have to move your mouse everywhere and click everything. So this is how you can refresh a secret shop. And then this is just the Excel that I use for my own personal tracking. It has, from a certain point, since I decided to start tracking this, all of my shop refresh sessions. And then this is just the summary of it, where this is roughly how my rates are over the entire sample size. And there's also the calculated section done by Reki, where he took the in-game secret shop rates, this is on this tab, which has 0.66 Cov and then 0.17 Mystic, and somehow converted this over to a more readable rate, which is just all laid out here. But he did say that the Skystone costs that he got are probably a little bit higher than what they should be, just because this is an estimation, of course. So this is just my rates, and this is the calculated rates. And also how much Skystone you should be expect to spend to hit a pity. It's about 8.5 thousand for a Covenant pity, and then around somewhere from 53 to 55,000 for a Mystic pity, plus the gold that you have to spend to buy all of those bookmarks as well. And then also, I'm just going to talk about this real quick. Sometimes people say that you should keep your shop at a secret level. It doesn't really matter that much. This is level 1 to level 13, so really it's just level 13 is where most people would be. And here, over 100,000 refreshes or 300,000 Skystones, you should expect to see about 4,237 Covenant rolls and 1,106 Mystic rolls. The shop level with the best rates is actually level 6. So for level 6, over 100,000 refreshes, you should expect to see 4,240 cover rolls and 1,107 Mystic rolls. That's 3 extra cover rolls and 1 extra Mystic roll over 100,000 refreshes. compared to being level 13, which really is pretty minimal. I would say that, honestly, in my opinion, being higher level for better gear is better. I have 2 pieces of gear that I can remember at least. There might be more that I've bought from the secret shop that actually rolled pretty well. So I would say it doesn't really matter that much. You can stay level 6 if you want, or just go to 13. And then if you already passed level 6, the next best level is either 10 or 11. I just go for 11. So yeah, that's just, if you really care about that, I think it's pretty minimal. So that's it for the major sources of bookmarks. Of course, everything else just comes from playing the game in the guild. When you do Guild War, you'll get Mystic Medals, and then that's really our only other source of Mystic Medals. This is why Secret Shop is really important for getting Mystic Medals. That's also why in Arena, you have the option between Skystones and Mystic Medals. You always pick the Skystones because spending those Skystones in the Secret Shop will typically yield you more Mystic Medals than what they give you. And then everything else is like, besides the Huche Shop, Automaton Tower has some Cove bookmarks. I can't see the rewards, but there's some Cove bookmarks down here somewhere. Doing side story, your bi-weekly rotating side story in the exchange has some bookmarks here. So pretty much everywhere, everything else is just small sources from just playing the game naturally. Of course, Moonlight Theater, if you haven't finished that, has Mystic Medals in here as well. I think I'm done with everything, but there's Mystic Medals here. So that's it, really. This is just covering the best ways for you to get bookmarks. Mainly, I think most of this stuff is known by most people, I would say, but hopefully anybody who didn't know it managed to gain something from this secret shop is really, really nice. It is time-consuming, but it's by far the best way for us to get rolls, especially for Mystics, because we don't really have any other good sources besides Guild War. And then for Covenants, you are saving a good amount of Skystones, down from 95 per roll to 70 per roll, so a pretty big discount. And then the SSS mission, for any newer players, if you haven't finished that yet, make sure that you're making progress towards that so you can get all of the Cove bookmarks from there as well.